Hello and welcome back to the Voloshen Law Firm for yet another episode of the Power Partners video series. Today, once again, we have with us Tad Kaplun, my good friend and colleague. Tad is an attorney and a partner with Kaplun Marks, a premier personal injury law firm in the Philadelphia area. I'd like to focus today's episode on workers' compensation claims and ask Tad to help us understand when a workers' compensation claim can and should be presented. He will talk with regards to an injury claim that is very relevant to new Americans or people who are here in the midst of obtaining immigration status for permanent residence or for a temporary purpose. So Tad, without further ado, welcome back. And please tell us a little bit about a workers' compensation claim in Pennsylvania. For example, how does it work? What does it require? And what are your tips to our viewers and mutual clients on what they should do if they are in fact injured at work?
Okay, so thank you for having me. Workers' compensation in the realm of immigration, these type of questions come up oftentimes. Many people come to this country, as you're well aware, they take a job for cash because of necessity. They're trying to feed their family, trying to take care of whatever bills they may have and send some money back home. And oftentimes, unfortunately, they are taken advantage of. Many times employers will pay them and tell them, you're not necessarily an employee, or, they'll make up different kinds of excuses as to why, if they're injured on the job, they weren't necessarily working the hours they were working, necessarily making the money they were making, or even working for them at all. We hear oftentimes in this context, you're a 1099, you're an independent contractor. Most times, especially in Pennsylvania, that's not true. If you're told by your employer, hey, this is when you have to be at work, here are your tools, here's a computer, here's a hammer, whatever it may be, and they tell you this is the job, this is what we need you to do, you're not an independent contractor, whether they give you a 1099 or not. So we often see those kind of questions come up. We also often see clients who don't have status yet, or are waiting on status, or here illegally, or whatever it may be, who are injured on the job and then told, well, maybe you didn't work here, or maybe you didn't receive the money you received. Keeping reasonable records related to your work, a calendar, we always tell people, keep a calendar in your phone. I worked, 8 hours today. I made X amount this week. Very helpful. The assumption is if the employer doesn't have the contemporaneous records and you do, well, guess what? You're more credible than they are. So regardless of whether you have status or not, if you get injured at the job, and the interesting thing about workers' comp is fault is not needed to be proven. So it doesn't matter whether you swing a hammer into your own thumb like I would probably do. It doesn't matter. You still can make a workers' compensation claim. In Pennsylvania, every employer is to provide workers' comp insurance, and if they don't have that insurance, there is a state plan that comes in and it's a catch-all. But what we often see is clients who have some sort of immigration issue, whether that be they just came to this country, they're illegal, or they're waiting for status, or otherwise, and they're in your hands and they're getting help from you. Those people are oftentimes scared, because they're frightened by the employer, by the status issue, and otherwise. The immigration portion has no bearing on the personal injury portion, on the workers' comp portion, and they should not be afraid. They should certainly talk to you and get direction from you, and talk to a personal injury attorney, workers' comp attorney in Pennsylvania or New Jersey who can help them provide for their claim, because when you're injured at work, and oftentimes we see severe injuries, and you can no longer work, those are some of the worst situations. And immigrants are oftentimes taken advantage of, whether it be by the employer or by the system. We're here to prevent all that.
Should the injured employee accept any compensation directly from the employer in lieu of pursuing a workers' comp claim and before speaking to an attorney?
That's a great point, Igor, and we oftentimes see that. The employer, they feel bad, the person got injured, and they take them to the hospital, and they say, well, don't worry, we got you. We'll provide for your medical care, and we'll give you, some cash on the side, or we'll give you your weekly wages. Once those medical bills, if it's relatively serious injury, once those medical bills start piling up, you can no longer contact the employer. They won't return your calls. They paid you for a little bit, but then they stop. I've seen this hundreds and hundreds of times. And look, it's good to be altruistic as an employer and try and help, but the reality is if someone's severely injured, and we see it a lot in the construction setting, where someone gets hurt on a construction site, they get cut or they break a bone, or that takes a lot of medical care, time to recover, and you're out of work for a great deal of time. And these employers, whoever it is, may be the best of intentions, but oftentimes that quickly, money talks, and unfortunately they don't have the wherewithal to keep paying you as an employee out of work or pay for your medical bills. So that's the point of workers' comp. That's why we have this program to be able to take care of medical bills and get you back on your feet and pay you a portion of your wages during that period of time where you can't, and eventually get a resolution should it come to that. But yeah, employers oftentimes say, hey, listen, I'll take care of you. Don't worry. You should be worried if you hear that.
So if our clients have any further questions with regards to their workers' compensation matters, how can they contact you?
So we have 24/7 availability. They can contact us at 215-939-4895. We have English speakers, Spanish speakers, and Russian speakers where we can help them. I speak Russian fluently, and we can always get translators for any kind of other languages. We have a Portuguese translator. So we're available 24/7. They can reach us through our website as well. It's www.kaplunmarks.com. It's KAPLUNMARX.com. We have forms on there that you can fill out. The website is in English, Spanish, and Russian for your convenience. And they can always get us through their fantastic immigration attorney as well.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact Tad Kaplun directly, or you can always reach us at the Voloshen Law Firm at 215-437-7854. You can also reach us through our website, voloshenlaw.com, or on one of our social media platforms. Thank you for your attention. Tune in next time. Have a good day.